Football is on the tube tonight. NBC is hosting, I guess. I don't know. Televising, I guess I should say. The Lions versus the Chargers are tonight. So you do have some football that will be on your television, on maybe your other television or your phone or computer, wherever you're watching this show from. Hopefully tonight, what you're watching is AYS Sports as Day 2 LSU football camp went underway. We got a good little viewing today of the LSU Tigers. We'll talk about in great detail what we saw today. I'm pretty sure the Tigers are off tomorrow. So we will be off tomorrow, and we will get back at it on Saturday, as I would assume. Again, I don't know this to be any form of fact of reason or anything. I'm just assuming here. I would expect for pads to come on. We'll break down everything we saw. Day 2, people that stood out, things that Blake Ruffino in Day 2 might be going into this. What am I getting a little bit bullish on? You know, Brian Kelly has brought up that word bullish quite a lot here as of recently, but what are some things that I'm seeing as an opinion? Observations and opinions that we need to get to. But I will tell you, to start off tonight's show, I am starting to get pretty bullish about this this defensive line. The things that we have seen so far and some of the level of depth that they have, the freshness of bodies that they can use, of caliber of guys that can run out there and give you some meaningful snaps is starting to become and look as if it might be a little bit significant. I have told you all offseason, especially after we got there during the spring, and now that we are getting there through 2 days. Blake, it's 2 days. Well, day 1 of 2023, I came out here and told you live and placed a bet live on this show of Jane Daniels winning a Heisman. How'd that work in 2023? There are just some things to me that is standing out athletically and from an explosive standpoint that let's start to monitor this position group. For me, it's the defensive line. Now, there are a couple of things here tonight that we are going to discuss that I'm going to try to validate for myself as to why I am doing that. Number one, is this offensive line going through a lot of struggles, which bolsters the defensive line right now? Is this edge room as good as we think that they can be? There are 2 schools of thought that I have. Either number 1, the offensive line is just really getting beat up, or number 2, every day in practice, they're going up against a really damn good unit. Defensively, again, I think that you are a little bit ahead of where the offense is, where the defense has had some struggles. And so today I heard that we were not able to see this. So I cannot confirm nor deny this. But I was told through some people that Mansour Delane had an interception in 1v1s. If that is the case, I would assume, as I was also told, that the pressure was immense again today. How does that continue to show up? But one thing is for certain to me. One thing is for certain is that the defensive line seems to be as deep as it's ever been in the Brian Kelly era. You think of what you can do along that defensive line and what we think guys who can play. The thing that I would say here is in the interior and exterior, you're easily too deep on guys that you think that can play. So we're going to talk about that here a lot tonight. I don't want to overreact through day 2. What I don't want to do is not mention how impressed in both days that I have walked away from the defense, especially the defensive line, and looked at them and said, you know what, man, that is a lot better looking than what we've seen in years past. even in individual drill stuff, from a collective unit, it looks a lot better than I feel like that we've seen. It reminds me of level of intensity, level of athleticism as 2022, if not better in some regards. So again, we will see. You could go out there August the 30th and just Clemson completely destroys that narrative. And that could be what happens. But right now, without a shadow of a doubt, from the first team to second team, this defensive line has dominated and they've looked very good when doing it. So we'll talk about that at great depth. We'll give you a full practice breakdown of what we were able to see today. I don't think the how do I want to say this? I don't think Aaron Anderson not being and taking a lot of reps today is something to really worry about, as Brian Kelly literally yesterday told you that they are going to try to keep him as explosive and healthy as all possible. If he sneezes, I think he's coming off the field. I think they are trying to protect number one at all costs. So we'll talk about that in case you missed it. Aaron Anderson in and out today. Did not see him a lot, but visibly saw him when we walked in. Myself and Jacques Doucette walked in, and he was standing right there. So calm down. It is day two. Well, Blake, you just said you're really bullish on the defensive line. You're telling us to calm down. You know what I'm trying to say there. So we'll get on the full breakdown. A lot of special team stuff today. And listen, could even go on a special teams rant on what we saw. I do think Ahmad Anand, the special teams analyst that is brought in, a lot more level of intensity when it comes to special teams and how they run the practices. Harold Perkins almost getting a blocked field goal today as he split a double team between Tyree Adams and came inches away from blocking a kick in day two. Some things that Harold Perkins is doing that's standing out. We'll break down some drills. We'll break down some things that we saw, guys that stood out today as well, and as we'll do on this Thursday. Thoughts, questions, and concerns. We will break all of that down as well here tonight as well. Let's get to a couple of comments before we get rolling, as we already have a super chat. Heath sends a $5 super chat. Says, always enjoy the show, Blake. Thank you so much, Heath. Greatly appreciate that. Getting really excited about the upcoming season. Watching from the Woodlands, Texas, via the 337. All that tells me is that Heath got that money. Heath got money. All right, you live out in the Woodlands. You got money. Alexander Taylor with a $2 super chat says, Blake has gone viral on Clemson Twitter. Yes. I have seen the Clemson Twitter and my take. So in case you don't know what happened this week, I went on with our good buddy Chris Phillips over at SEC Unfiltered. In that, in theory, what I said is about Garrett Nussmeier and about pulling the ball and taking it right to an elite edge in TJ Parker. If you've watched this show ever, if you've watched any of my content ever, if you watched that show that was with Chris Phillips and got the full context, me saying and talking about TJ Parker and being a very good top 10 overall pick potential edge for Clemson, you would know that to be the case. In that, I was trying to send a message in a clip that got posted and went a little viral. I was saying, if I'm Garrett Nussmeier, if it were me for LSU, the first play that I'm running is a zone read with Garrett. I am telling Garrett to pull it regardless. It doesn't matter to me what you do. If you gain yards, you don't gain yards, any of that. I want teams to respect that number 13 or potentially maybe one day number 18 will pull and will get some yardage on a zone read. I am running right at TJ Parker, and I am trying to hit him under his chin trap and then telling him I'm going to be here all night. I'm just going to be here all night. The message that I was trying to send had absolutely nothing to do with the University of Clemson. What happens is you see a minute-long video and you're like, this guy's talking shit about Clemson. I'm not talking shit about Clemson. I'm sending a message to LSU. And I even in the video said, quit with the pity pat bullshit. Go take it to somebody. That's how in the world is that a shot at Clemson? But as college football normally does, it was taken out of context because, of course, it was. I did not take a shot at Clemson. I am saying point out the biggest, baddest dude on their team and go take it to him, play one. I'm going to be here all night. And here's the bottom line fact if you're an LSU fan. You have lacked physicality on both lines of scrimmage the last 3 years. Do you want to know why you've lost 11 games the last 3 years? It is because you have lacked a certain amount of physicality that it takes to get where you want to go. That is it. In 2023, you got away with a lack of some of that physicality because you had the best player in the country, the NFL Rookie of the Year, and the Heisman Trophy winner on your team that bailed you out of a lot of situations. It's a fact. You got to go take it to somebody's ass. You cannot allow 250 rushing yards per game in the SEC per loss. You cannot continue to be pushed around up front on either line of scrimmage. So, did I go viral this week on Clemson Twitter? Yes. I also went viral on TikTok from in the great state of Michigan about Bryce Underwood. I think that clip is up to 250 to 300,000 views at this point. It's football season. It's what we do. But the bottom line is that's not a shot at Clemson. It's not a shot, excuse me. It's not a shot at TJ Parker. It is not even a shot at LSU, but just saying, go out there and knock someone's block off. In the clip, I say something funny to Chris. Like, remember the first play after halftime in the movie Replacements when Shane Falco says, kick ass on one, ready, break. And they're DDTing people like it's WWE and they're drop kicking people. Now, clearly you're not going to do that. But the level of mentality, go crack, you can't crack block on anybody, but find a way, be creative, go take it to their rear ends. Go punch them in the fucking mouth. That is the bottom line. Rear back and punch them in the mouth. We're going to be here all night. I think in the clip as well, or in the video as well, I talk about Rocky 3, like Rocky 4. They're going to give you their best punch. And if you're still standing there, I'm going to be here all night. LSU fans, you're in a dogfight. Game hasn't even kicked off yet. We're not even day 2 out of camp. You got Dabo sliding down a slide at Clemson's facility, running to practice. You have BK putting 1-0 all over the facility. Guys, both teams feel that they potentially are facing off against a playoff team week 1. And Clemson Twitter is mad at me because I said, go punch him in the mouth. Some of the people on TikTok that I think it's what it's called, duetted the video. Thank you for doing that. And thank you for confirming to me that you don't know ball. It's not a shot at Clemson. It's not a shot at LSU. It is a message being sent, rear back and knock somebody's ever living block off. Bottom line. So, yes, I did go a little bit viral. Jason says, is it more with a $2 super chat? Says, is it more important in today's SEC offense or defense? Both. I mean, you can't really have one without the other, really. I mean, if you're asking me, it's like if you can't score points, you can't win. So if you have an average offense, then you could be moderately good like Georgia did in 2023. So just all depends. Couple more. Jay Smack says, I can't lie. I love Blake. Well, thank you. But the bottom line, look, the bottom line is They can be mad at me. Listen, there are so many comments in those threads on TikTok, on Twitter, guys calling me names all under the sun. You get in this business long enough, guys, like somebody last night came in here and said, Blake, I was defending you on Tiger droppings. I could, first off, thank you for sticking up for me. It really, I sincerely mean this. It means a lot, but at the same time, it really does. I really don't care. Like, I really don't. There are a lot of comments. Guys, it's basically saying, go punch somebody in the fucking mouth. You play a violent game. You ram your head into another man's head, pause, 65 average plays a game. And you're trying to tell me that, hey, well, what's been LSU's biggest downfall the last 3 years? Guys, the bottom line has been physicality. The bottom line has been physicality. So, like it, love it, or hate me, love me, doesn't matter. The reality around the world is that you're giving up too many rushing yards defensively in every loss. Offensively, you can't run the ball without Jaden Daniels. Not consistently enough. Again, if you want to get where you're going to go, you got to run the football and play good defense. There's a lot of things that have changed. A lot of things that have changed over the years, meaning in the last 4 years, since 2021, you as a college football fan have been given NIL, realignment, transfer portal, rev share, playoff expansion. 5 massive things that you've been given as a college football fan. A lot of you probably don't like all the things that you've been seeing. And I don't blame you, because I don't like a lot of them either. Not some of the things that have been going on. TV rev share, I think it was the right thing to do. Clearly, the federal government came down and said, hey, man, this is illegal as shit. The transfer portal, I don't agree with everything in the portal, but NIL, I agree with it. I mean, guys, it is what it is, the world that we live in. But there have been so many things in college athletics that have changed over the last 4 years. The one thing in college football that has not changed, and I will go debate for debate on anybody on planet Earth on this segment or on this topic, the one thing in college football that has not changed, if you just stop the run consistently and you run the football consistently, you're going to find yourself in the final, let's just say for loose liberal sake, not political, you're going to find yourself in the top 12. You're going to find yourself in the top 12. Every single team that has found themselves in the Final Four the last decade, they all have one thing in common. They defended the run very well, majority of the time, consistently of the time, and they ran the football very well. You, as an LSU fan, won a national title, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire had damn near and close to 2,000 total yards, 1,400 of that coming on the ground. Newsflash, Buttercup, that's how you win natties. It's how you win playoff games. Blake, Penn State's overrated. You know, I hear from more people that Penn State's overrated than anything. You know what Penn State did do? Guys, even against Oregon, even against Ohio State, the national championship winner, they averaged 200 rush yards per game. Here's kind of a hot take. Want to know why Les Miles won so many damn games at LSU? They ran the ball, and they played good defense. Now, was his downfall because it's all he did. It can't be the only thing that you do. But you have a baseline of that, you're going to win a lot of football games. All right. Let's get to some practice reports here. Let me do this. Let me get to a quick break. Thank you. Did I get to all the super chats? I think that I did. Jason, basically, yes, balance to this super chat. Yes, balance. You need balance. And a lot of it. Let's get to it here. Let me get to a quick break. We break down practice next. However, let's talk about our good friends over at ServiceHawk.com. digital marketing. Guys, if you need the right leads, smart systems, and real growth, you need to get a marketing system that works for you today. Go over to servicehawk.io. That's servicehawk.io. Fill out the little questionnaire. If you're an HVAC, if you're electrical pro, generator pro, if you run a small business, you know how important marketing is to you. Get over to ServiceHawk Digital Media and ServiceHawk Digital Marketing today by going over to servicehawk.io, filling out their questionnaire, letting them know what you need done. Lee and Justin literally are the best in the business. The reason they continue to win all these awards in the state of Louisiana is because how dominant they've been in marketing. And again, ServiceHawk Digital Media, where they soar above the competition. Let me get to a quick break. When we come back, oh, by the way, everyone hit the like and share. Share to all those groups and social media pages. Wherever you listen to podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe. And by the way, a lot of you have been doing this, and thank you so much. If you got a lot of Tiger friends, a lot of people that you know that like LSU, if you're on YouTube, do me this favor. Click that share button and share to all your LSU buddies. Say, hey, man, this guy's kind of crazy, but we kind of think he knows what he's talking about. Or, hey, this guy's a dumbass, come look at him. Regardless of where you stand, y'all have been doing that for us. It's really been helping out. Do us a favor again. Hit that share button. Tell all your friends that they can come talk some LSU football with us. Let me get to a quick break. LSU practice. We talk about it next. Stay with us.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man. He's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler. He'll shoot you straight.
Hey, guys, I want to tell you about our good friends over at Red Stick Financial. They're your local residential mortgage broker located right here in the heart of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. At Red Stick Financial, they find the bank that works for your particular set of needs to purchase the home of your dreams or refinance the current one. They truly are your partners in this process, and they pride themselves in helping individuals and families with one simple goal in mind, and that is to make home financing approachable, attainable, and stress-free. They are licensed in all Louisiana, Texas, and Mississippi. So from Amarillo to Meridian and everything in between, they have you covered. Red Stick Financial brings you creative, customized solutions, and they don't believe in the one-size-fits-all when it comes to loans. They even have special options for mobile and manufactured homes located in a flood zone and stated income financing for those of us who are self-employed borrowers. If you or someone you know is looking to buy a home, refinance an existing mortgage, or simply want to know what options are out there for your future, give Red Stick Financial a call today at 225-407-9250. That's 225-407-9250. Or check them out online at redstickfinancial.com. That's redstickfinancial.com. Before you purchase the home of your dreams or you go and do that refinance, you need to go local. Hey, Southwest Louisiana. Are you ready to gear up for your next outdoor adventure or tackle that next big job on the farm? Then head on over to Henderson Tractors, Boats, and Power Sports. At Henderson and Lake Charles, they've got everything you need under one massive 30,000 square foot indoor showroom. Kubota tractors and mowers to power through the toughest tasks. Polaris off-road bikes and side-by-sides to conquer any trail. And tracker boats with brands like Ranger, Nitro, Sun Tracker, and Regency pontoons for a day out on the water. Whether you're a farmer or a hunter or just someone who loves the great outdoors, Henderson has what you need to get the job done and have fun while doing it. Browse their new and used inventory over at their website, hendersonimplement.com. That's hendersonimplement.com. Or give them a call today at 337-436-4366. That's 337-436-4366. Or go see them over in Lake Charles on the corner of East McNee Street and Highway 14. Remember, if you need a tractor, go to Henderson. Need a boat, go to Henderson. Or if you need an ATV or side-by-side, you know where to go. Henderson. Just let them know that your good friend Blake Ruffino over at AYS sent you on by.
We're back.
Remember last preseason when everyone thought that the Saints were going to go to the playoff based off of one preseason game? Trey Lance is out here dealing for the Chargers right now, and boy, you wouldn't have known it, but Twitter is doing Twitter-level things. But yes, we do have football on the tube. It's really nice to see football on the tube. And you know what? Shout out to Trey Lance for all that it's worth. Shout out to Trey Lance. Yes, I do see a lot of you in here saying where you're watching from tonight. Where are you watching from tonight, to all of you that are in here? I love it. I absolutely love it when you tell us where you're listening from. All right, let's get to practice. So day 2 of LSU fall camp was underway, and there were a lot of things that at least I thought that we were able to see. Some things that maybe do not pique the interest of some. But a main area that I think LSU has got to be better in, especially from punting to field goals to those things, is special teams. Now, if you remember during the offseason, maybe some of you do not, LSU went out and got Grambling coach Ahmad Anand and is going to make him and has made him their special teams analyst. Now, there are a lot of people like Brad Davis and other coaches that are helping along with Ahmad Anand in reference to special teams. It still is a full coaching staff worth of help to help on special teams. But I do think Ahmad Anand, as an analyst in special teams, was a guy, if you know the coaching realm and world, someone that has been a very kind of quick riser, was an analyst at Penn State, was an analyst at Baylor, wanted to be a position coach, also went to Texas Southern, where they led in special teams, actually led in rushing that year as well at Texas Southern, went to Grambling, where they led in special teams again. A younger coach who has already kind of made an imprint on this game in reference to special teams has been Ahmad Anand. Now, I do not know specifically, nor could I really see, but we were walking up. The door of the indoor facility was wide open, and it appeared that the first thing that LSU was doing today was working on different kickoffs, onsides, punt or kick return, and things of that nature. Could not see it, have absolutely no clue what was happening, but it appeared as if when the door was open that that's what we saw. Did not get to see that period for what it's worth, so I'm not going to speculate on it. But LSU did work on a lot of special teams to start off the day today. I do think that this is a big deal. The reason it's a big deal is, guys, in a lot of these close games a season ago, whether it be Ole Miss, whether it be Texas A&M, whether it be Florida, name the game, and when you had critical moments that special teams needed to come through for you, and they didn't. Now, today, LSU had 2 forms of field goals. They had one on one far left hash, one on one far right hash. One was a little bit closer to the goalpost than the other, and another one was way back. Damian Ramos, who's been your kicker for quite some time here at LSU, went 2 for 3 today. Every single kick that he had, after it was over, Ahmad Anand was talking to Damian Ramos, going through the kick. Now, Damian Ramos in the first team had some complications. One complication was from about 42, 43 yards, Damian Ramos missed a field goal wide left. And another time when they were closer to the goal line, I want to say 29 yards or so, Harold Perkins bursted through the line of scrimmage through Tyree Adams and came inches away from my vantage point of blocking a field goal. There's a couple of things there that I want to touch on. The first thing is, since Brian Kelly has been there, even with Brian Polian, when they started to line up in field goal, Ahmad Anand was going absolutely berserk. And when I mean absolutely berserk, I mean it. What I mean by going berserk was he was running up to the defense saying, block the field goal. Block it right now. Then turned around and said, oh, they talking shit. They're going to block this field goal. What you going to do about it? Guys, I'll talk about this later. The level of intensity up there, even on special teams. This is the third time in 2 days that Harold Perkins has done something where I'm like, there goes 7. Blocking a field goal was almost one of them. He's not taking a field goal play off. In the period before it started, talking to the defenders, Ahmad Anan appeared to be, not appeared, he was speaking to the interior of the defensive line. Now, I could not hear what he was saying, but based off of body language, it appeared that he was talking to Bernard Gooden, Sadir Mitchell, and let me check my notes for the third one. I forget who the third one was. But Bernard Gooden, Ahmad Bro. No, it was not Ahmad Bro. Mitchell, Guillory, and Gooden, excuse me. Those 3 guys were in the interior for field goal block. It would appear that he was taking the time before the period started to talk about how much push he wanted in the interior, and then he pointed at Harold Perkins. 2 kicks later, Harold Perkins is inches away from blocking a field goal. So, I know pads are not on. Regardless, the defensive guys don't have pads on. The offensive guys don't have pads on. Guys, it's 1 versus 1, regardless of what we want to think about it. In that, I think that you have a coach or an analyst, which we'll talk about analysts later, and what defensively LSU has done with those analysts. That's a lot different than what we've seen in years past. But you have a guy in Ahmad Anan who, guys, at Baylor, at Penn State, at Texas Southern, and Grambling, has been allowed to and has done or been a part of doing some really good things in field goal, punt blocks, punt returns, kickoff returns. In the portal, you go get the SEC leader in kickoff returns in Barry and Brown. And guys, quite honestly, you were one of the worst teams in the country last year in net punting. You're one of the worst teams in the country, too, at critical situations in field goals. I think you have a position battle, in my humble opinion, at kicker. Aaron Burrell did not miss. The kicker out of the state of Louisiana, actually the number 1 kicker, which nobody really cares about in recruiting, but apparently through a lot of the services, the number 1 kicker coming out of high school a couple of seasons ago, guys, he kicked a field goal from 42, 43 plus. In the field goal that he kicked, it was right down from 42, 43. It was right down the middle, and based off of where it went through in the uprights, it was, if you have the goalpost, it was about 2/3 of the way up, probably even more than that. Probably could have made it from 55 plus. That's how big he kicked. That's how much he kicked it. There was a massive focus on it, and there was a lot of conversation after that period between Ahmad Anan, the snappers, the holders, and the kickers. I do not want to go past special teams. Guys, you have not been really good at trying to get after punts and blocking them. Ahmad Anan did that at Penn State and Baylor. And he did it Southern and Grambling. I think at Texas Southern, and I should have looked this up, but I remember when he was hired as an analyst, we talked about that. They came close to breaking an SCS record in punt blocks in a season, like very close. I think they were like 1 or 2 away. It's going to be interesting to see how that goes. But the thing of the matter is, you still have 3 areas of football that if you win, it's a big deal. I remember Saban talking about that he takes special teams over for himself. He never, and he was talking about this in a coaching clinic that I know that made its rounds on social media, that he never allowed coaches to run special teams outside of himself. Would he have guys around him that are better suited or know more about special teams around him? Yes. But he took it so critical because you could have a situation like he did Nick Saban, in Alabama versus Auburn, where you have a kick 6 level situation. The bottom line is, I think you have a battle brewing between Damian Ramos and Aaron Burrell. If you're talking about pure power and pure length of a kick, Aaron Burrell is by far the best kicker that you have on the team. And I like Damian Ramos, and this is not a shot at him, but it is otherworldly of a difference about what Aaron Burrell could do versus Damian Ramos. I don't know what's going to come of that. And guys, the truth of the matter is, when we're at practice, the level of times that we can see special teams is not that much. They are on a completely different field, if not in the indoor. When we are outside, we do not get to see a lot of special teams. I'm glad that we got to see it today. I hope that we get to see more of it. And because I still think that you, and I do believe that you have a battle at kicker. Guys, if you can win on special teams, you're going to win a lot of games too. God forbid you block a punt this year. Here's the hot take. I think you're going to block one, or you're going to definitely go after one. The level of the amount of speed that you have on this team, the amount of talent with scheme that we've seen Anand have. The question that I ask myself is simple. Can he utilize some of this personnel to get to the punter and block one? Can he get to it? I hope that he can. I hope that he does. And guys, you get a punt block and Nuss has got to go 20 yards versus having to go the whole length of the field. You start changing games that way. But they were very intentional. They were very intense in an extensive special teams period. Ramos missed from about 43, went 2 of 3 on the day. 2 of the field goals that he connected on, which he's pretty much automatic from there like he was the season ago, were inside the 40 mark. Aaron Burrell went 3 for 3, and guys, quite honestly, when you get that close in the competition, some things are just going to stand out more than others. But they did do that. Harold Perkins. Let me talk on this a little bit. There was a massive focus on blocking the kick. You do not want to get your kicker hurt. And I don't know if Perk went when he bursted through the line, if he went all out like maybe that he would do in a game to block the kick. The reason I say that is because you're not trying to get a kicker hurt. And what's the real purpose of blocking a kick in a practice? Let's let it go through, because it's like when guys on defense are rushing the passer, you don't want your quarterback to get hit, but you don't ever really sack them. You don't even really touch them. You just get there, go amongst your business, go to the side of them, and let the quarterback make the pass in the play that you're running. It's a lot like that with kicker. If you're asking me my God's honest opinion based off of my viewpoint, which others may have had better viewpoints than I thought Harold Perkins could have blocked the field goal, to be real with you. They did not take it off like we've seen in years past. I don't know if that means anything. I don't know if the level of intensity means anything. But one thing I do know is that's the third play, whether it be on defense and now the one on special teams, that in 2 days that I've just seen Harold Perkins make. And got to write this down about Perk. Guys, he looks explosive, man. It's why we talked about it and did a segment on it yesterday. It's why he stood out to me yesterday. You keep making plays, good things are going to continue to happen. There are so many storylines that we can talk about with Harold Perkins. So many. If you're going to give me effort and go all out, I hope that they figure it out. But there he was again, making plays. We talked about the period of before when Ahmad Anand talked the interior defensive line. I mean, he was all in Sadir Mitchell's, I say face, not in a bad way, but I think he was trying to pep him up to block it. I think the interior pressure on a kick is a big deal too. Let's continue to monitor special teams. I know it's not a sexy topic, right? Like special teams is never going to be a very special topic, but it is what it is. Inches away from blocking a field goal. So there was that. Offense, let's run through some of these. Aaron Anderson was out there. I got sent a lot of the stuff today about Aaron Anderson in the offense. Oh, he's missed practice. I saw him with my own eyes. He was out there. Did he go through stuff? No, not much. I saw him on one play, and then he was out. Brian Kelly said yesterday that they know who Aaron Anderson is. He literally stated in a press conference yesterday, while Aaron was fully healthy and going through the full day of the practice yesterday, we are going to keep number one upright. If that is not running him through drills this early in camp, we are going to keep him out. I know that number one was not out there today, technically, on the amount of time that you want him. Guys, I got to be real with you. After talking to some people and based off of what Brian Kelly said yesterday, I'm not worried about Aaron Anderson until they give me a reason to be worried about Aaron Anderson. Guys, he was out there. Me and Jock saw him with literally our own eyes. Walking through the front door, he was standing right there. I just think you're 2 days into this and you're so deep at wide receiver. No. We had this situation with Chris Hilton a year ago. If you sneeze, number one's coming out. Don't get him hurt. As the camp goes on, if that continues to happen, then we'll have a conversation, guys. It's day 2. But camp today, the offense stayed the same. Let's talk about the offensive line. Same offensive line. Tyree Adams, DJ Chester, Moore, Thompson, and Davis from left to right was your starting offensive line, the exact same from yesterday. The second unit was Carius Kern, Paul Mabinga, Augustus, Cohen Eccles, and Bo Bordelon. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed there along the offensive line. Hilton, Xavion, Thomas, Aaron Anderson was out there, and along with Barrion were your wide receivers. I'm throwing Aaron Anderson out there, and I made a change inside the report on our message board because, guys, again, I just saw him with my own eyes. So we'll see. But from those units, nothing changed. What I did see Brad Davis doing today was getting on to Josh Thompson a lot in reference to finishing drills and going through stuff. Now, as they went on air, throwing the ball around, running some plays, getting loose, as soon as the first team went through that drill, I paid attention and went through a lot of focus with the tight ends and offensive line during drill work. There are a couple of notes that I want to point out here about the offensive line based off of what happened yesterday. There were 3 coaches with the offensive line today. And I say offensive line today, but Alex Atkins was mainly with the tight ends. They're in the same general area, going through the same general drills. Brian Kelly, Brad Davis, and Alex Atkins all went through board drills. What a board drill is, it's a big rubber pad that you have. If you're going to zone left, zone right, you move the pad. You have a dummy that's in front of you with a guy holding on to the dummy, and you're doing a zone read, staying low, and then hitting with your hands and exploding. Doing a power clean. Want to know why you do power cleans? There you go. Be explosive. I think that Brian Kelly being down there the whole time, Alex Atkins with the tight ends being down there the whole time, and Brian Kelly and Brad Davis, being down there. I think there's a massive central focus with BK. We have got to run the football. That is it. I think the intensity in day 2 during the drill work was a lot more intense than it was day 1 about technique and being better in the run game. I would assume based off of what happened yesterday and some things that I heard when we left practice that happened today. I think Brian Kelly's going to be a massive part of this run game, and it's never going to be talked about. That is the second time during drills with the offensive line when it came to technique that I have visibly seen Brian Kelly be there. I will say this. There's a lot to make about Brian Kelly. You can say that he doesn't win big games. You can say that whatever you want about him that's negative. Go right on ahead. The one thing that you cannot say about Brian Kelly is that he doesn't know how to develop offensive linemen, because he does. And he knows how to do it at a very high level. Guys, by the way, nobody in the last 5 years has more offensive linemen drafted more as a head coach of an active team more than Brian Kelly. No one. No one. You can tell the level of passion and attention to detail and technique that he is going through with this offensive line along with Brad Davis. Let me make this clear too. It also is not a sense that he is micromanaging Brad Davis on technique, because that is not happening. Guys will go through a drill. Brian Kelly will point something out, say do X, Y, and Z. He lets Brad Davis go, and they go through the drill. But if there's something that he just wants a little bit to be corrected, he's not screaming, he's not yelling, he's talking about technique and fundamentals. There's going to be a lot of emphasis on this run game. Like, love, or hate it, they need it. Let's see what this starting 5 unit and starting 5 unit for the second team can do. But I'm going to say this. There is a low level of concern with me that if they do not start picking this up, the conversations that we're going to need to have. I still don't like Karius Kern at left tackle. I think he needs to start getting reps at guard today. And I think you should have been giving him reps at guard. That is my opinion. Brian Kelly, Brad Davis know more about football than I do. It is strictly an opinion. If you're asking me, I'm moving 57 inside. You need depth in that interior. Are you cross-training him? Go right on ahead. I don't give a Rudy poo. One thing I do care about is I think you need to get more physical and more nasty in that interior. Right now, it is a focus, and after day 1 through day 2, you can tell based off of the energy and level of what's going on with your head coach, with your tight ends coach, and with your O-line coach. There was a massive emphasis in day 2 of that. Let's see what happens there. But Brian Kelly normally walks around the entire practice, and he did eventually. He was with that offensive line a lot today. So I love that Brian Kelly is doing what he's doing. Nobody has been more successful about offensive linemen and putting them into the league more than BK has. That is a bottom line fact. It is not an opinion. You have got to be better at running the football. Yesterday was not good. Blake, it's day 1. This offensive line has got to deal. Guys, they went one-on-ones, and a guard got beat 3 times for 3 tackles for a loss. Bull. You got to get moving now. You can't. Guys, if something bad happens in day 1, you got to be correcting it in day 2. And that's what they did. Paul Mabinga, Augustus, Eccles, with all due respect to them, if there's some shit that goes down along that interior defensive line, there is no way, no how that, yes, you can put in Paul Mabinga, but I am giving Karius Kern run. That is a bottom line. That is where I stand. It's where I will continue to stand, and I am not budging until I see it not working. I'm not budging. You got to get 57 in that interior, and let's see what he can do. Wide receiver, let's get to that. Guys, just so much rotation. Again, based off of the rotation of the formation of what they're doing, the rotation at wide receiver is going to happen. Hilton, Thomas, Anderson, Berryon, all are going to be involved there with the first team. I got to be real with you. I think based off of what we've seen through 2 days, let's see what happens on Saturday. I like the separation that Chris Hilton is generating from the other parts of the pack. Again, as Brian Kelly mentioned yesterday, you know what you're getting in Aaron Anderson. Right now, from the receiver perspective, a lot of passes being thrown at number 3. Number 3 is Chris Hilton. So nothing really changed there. I like Teron Francis today. It was in that group, and Teron Francis has started to make a little bit of a statement. Hey, I might not be in that first unit, but you're going to put me in that rotation with the second team. Let's see. But I think I can make the argument, and speaking of that, I was on with Jocks Who Said today on Jocks Talk. So be on the lookout on Twitter, Facebook, and all that. Your boy was on with Jocks Who Said over at WAFB. I do think that I can make the argument, and I've said this before here. I think I can make the argument that I think that you have the deepest wide receiver room in the SEC. BK has said the same thing. I agree with him. I agree with him at a high level. I hope that they prove us to be right. But I think that you're there. So not a lot of change there. The second team unit was Destin Hill. Excuse me, guys. Destin Hill, Kyle Parker, Barian Brown was rotating in there as well, depending on whatever was going on, and Tyrone Francis. Michael Van Buren, Kyle Hurley split reps with the second and third team. Michael Van Buren right now is still your second team quarterback. What I am interested about at quarterback is something that I think of all these things went a little unnoticed today. A lot of you have had a question about Juwan Johnson. Juwan Johnson's everywhere. He does ball security drills with the running backs. He does some passing drills with the quarterbacks. I don't know what to make of Juwan Johnson, but right now when there are QB drills going on, meaning footwork, placement, throwing the football, he is not with them. When it comes to 7-on-7 and other things, he is with them. When it comes to ball security, when it comes to getting the right steps as a running back and going through cone drills, etc., he is with the running backs. I think throughout camp, I'm assuming that there is going to be a question about Juwan Johnson and what he can do. Do they have any certain packages for him? I know me and Carter have had that discussion. Sure, you can do packages with Juwan Johnson. Go right on ahead. The thing for me that I would focus on the most with him is, can we just find a run game first before we're trying to get cute? The thing with me has nothing to do with Juwan Johnson. Nothing. Putting Juwan Johnson in the game, either you put him in or don't, I don't care. If he helps you run the football, why do I care? Nobody will care if he comes in and helps you with the running game and running the football. What I care about is, why will you be working on stuff with Juwan Johnson while you take out number 13 when you can't run the football to start off with? I think you need to find a way to run the football in your basic package stuff and then get him involved. You got to make sure that you're doing that first, in my humble opinion, and we'll see what there. But it is very notable that through 2 days, through drill work, that Juwan Johnson is taking some reps at quarterback. When it comes to ball security, foot placement, cone drills, he's been with Frank Wilson and all of that. Last but not least, offensively. Nick Anderson was back out there today. Nick Anderson ran with the third team. Have no idea what you want me to make of it. I did put in our notes today on our message board, ayssnetwork.com/groups. Nick Anderson was a full participant and ran with the third team offense. I do expect it to change come Saturday. They're going to get him involved in there, and they're going to see what he can do. All right, defense, before we get to some a break and get to some observations here. Your starting defensive line as today. Pause. This is the last day that I'm giving you a full-blown, what is the starting defensive line? I told you yesterday, I will tell you again today, and I hope I'm not having to answer this question a lot. Guys, if you're going to ask me the starting four along your defensive line, every single snap, every single day, every single situation, there has been something different. They are rotating. This is the point that I'm going to go on when it comes to observations and opinions. When there are certain situations, guys, they are rotating defensive linemen in and out of there like a baker does hotcakes. It is coming in. They are going in and out. Keep your minds out the gutter. But they are. It is a reason of why I am getting bullish on the D-line through 2 days. Again, we got a long, long way to go. But your starting defensive line today was Jack Pyburn, Bernard Gooden, Jacobian Guillory, and Gabe Rutherford during the pursuit drill. In the second team defensive line, it went Jamari Butler, Sadir Mitchell, Don McKinley, and Patrick Payton. Remember Sadir Mitchell because we're going to bring him up later. Guys, based off whatever is going on along that defensive line, those eight are being brought into there. And on certain third down situations, in comes Ahmad Bro, in comes Bernard Gooden. What I think they are doing here is, this is an opinion. I have no idea if this is what's going to happen. Just an opinion. And I want to talk about this right now. I think that, let's say that LSU gets in a 3rd and 7. What I expect is your defensive line to look something in the form of Gabe Rutherford or Jamari Butler at one edge, Patrick Payton at another edge, and in the interior, it's going to be Ahmad Bro, and it is going to be Bernard Gooden. Guys that can get after the passer. That is what we've seen so far, and I think that's the level of depth that you did not have a season ago. When it's base down situations, it has been every day so far and in the spring. So this isn't like just a 2-day thing. This has been a multi-day, multi-month thing. It has been some form of McKinley, Pyburn, Relaford, and somebody else in that interior. Just based off of everything going on, guys, stop. Don't ask me about who's starting at D-line. I think they're going to rotate so many dudes in and out of there to keep them fresh. They got enough bodies to do it. There you go. But that was your starting 2 unit. With the first team, both Weeks brothers were at linebacker along with Delane and Stamps. They were on the boundary at corner. At safety, at star was Harold Perkins. At strong safety was Jordan Gilbert. And at free safety was Tamarcus Cooley. They are rotating safeties like hotcakes too to try to find out who is going to be there. Guys, they're putting Perkins at star and they're sending him. I mean, through 2 days, I've seen him blitz more than I've ever seen a slot blitz before. They're sending him. See what continues to happen here, I don't know. Second team, linebackers, was Keys and Singleton along with Woodland and Jackson on the perimeter at corner. At free safety was Spears. At strong safety was A.J. Halsey. And at star was C.J. Jim Coyley, the freshman. Didn't get to see a lot there today defensively outside of drill work and outside of pursuit drills, but that is how it went down. So, other than drill work, which we'll talk about in observations and opinions, that was basically what we got to see today. I do expect Saturday to pick up at a high level, and I do expect there to be some more high intensity when those pads start popping. So, we will see. All right. I saw that we had a $20 super chat in here. LSU Fan for Life, Mr. LSU Fan for Life with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much. He says, great show as usual, big dog. Thank you so much. It is, I got to tell you, after the Clemson viral video and the Michigan viral video this week and seeing some of the comments that you have about yourself, it doesn't bother me, but I'm just like, damn, it's always nice to get some positivity. Not only the $20 super chat does Mr. LSU Fan for Life send, but he gives some encouraging words. Thank you so much. It really does mean a lot that you send that in. It really, really does. Thank you so much for the encouragement. D Music says, you the best in the business, Blake. Boy, man. Okay, after last night and getting ridiculed, it feels good to get some good praise here. Thank you guys so much. It means a lot. It does mean a lot. All right. Guys, let me tell you about good friends over at Section 103, where they have more comfortable apparel than those club seats that you're sitting in. You need to go over to section103.com. Go to the LSU section. Guys, they got hoodies. They got hats. They have shirts. And, guys, again, I tell you this every day. I love their shirts. I love their hoodies. I love their hats. And, by the way, they're clean. They're fresh. They look good to wear. Don't be somebody that when you go to that first game for LSU this year that you do not have some Section 103 apparel. Use the promo code AYS at checkout for that apparel that you are purchasing, and you'll get 10% off of that order. Guys, the shirts fit fantastic. The hats fit fantastic, and they look so freaking good. Again, section103.com. Use that promo code AYS at checkout. That way they know that Blake sent you on by. Let me get you a quick break. When we come back, observations and opinions. We talk about them next. Stay with us. Guys, I want to talk to you about our good friends over the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company. Are you facing tough times due to an injury from a car accident, navigating the complexities of divorce, or purchasing a new home? At the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company, They understand the challenges you're going through, and they are here to help. The lawyer team of Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, along with Morgan Daniels, have the experience and proven track record to give you that peace of mind. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. That's 985-386-7600 to schedule a free consultation at their brand new office located in historic downtown Ponchatoula. They're also doing a special, the AYS special. If you're refinancing or closing on a home in Southeast Louisiana, request the Drake Title Company to handle your closing. If you mention Blake Ruffino and AYS, you're going to receive a $400 discount on title fees. Again, give them a call at 985-386-7600. Let them know that Blake Ruffino sent you on. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Falls and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with the great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Falls has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements. Guys, let me tell you about our good friends over at Grand Slam Heating and Air, where your comfort is their top priority. At Grand Slam Heating and Air, they promise to provide customers with high-quality HVAC service at an affordable price while ensuring the homeowner peace of mind. From their office to your home, they guarantee the best hassle-free experience around. Efficiency and comfort is their game. Let them make your home Grand Slam today. At Grand Slam Heating and Air, they're offering their annual maintenance plan starting off at $18.75 a month and also doing those $99 tune-up promotions. They provide free estimates for system and ductwork replacement, as well as offering financing to get the job done with no money up front. From Baton Rouge to Hammond to Covington, they're all around. So what you need to do today, give them a call at 225-380-9065. That's 225-380-9065. Or go over to the website, getgrandslamair.com. That's getgrandslamair.com, where your comfort is their top priority. Let's do that again. Carius says, Blake, you the homie man. Thank you, Carius. I greatly appreciate it. Really, it does mean a lot because people can break you down, man. They can break you down. We're all trying to do the best that we can here. All right. Observations and opinions. LSU out there, day 2 of football practice. Let's break some of them down. Number 1, Jack Pyburn. Today in every single drill, every one of them, as Blake Baker made the rounds through every single one of these drills, there was one guy and one constant theme about Jack Pyburn. Number 1, Blake Baker was very impressed and continued to go around these drills defensively and continued to point out number 44, Jack Pyburn, in those drills. You can hear Blake Baker tell the team and say that every time that he was doing a drill, whether a tackling drill, whether getting off blocks, whatever it is, that he loved his technique and that he was doing it the best. Even to some point, at one point, I should say, where Blake Baker stated the following. Guys, that's how you do the drill perfectly. Everybody watch this. This is how you do this drill perfectly. Jack Pyburn is turning some heads, man. He did in spring. Again today, he did, especially to his defensive coordinator, Blake Baker. It's going to be interesting to see the role and the situation of what happens with this edge unit. But one thing for sure stood out to me today in observations, Blake Baker talking about Jack Pyburn and doing every drill right and at a full clip. He ain't taking off a play. One thing that I'm never going to worry about, if number 44 is on the field, he is going to give you every single ounce that he has, every single bit of it. I can live with, and I know you can too, as a fan, what I can live with is a guy not winning a rep, but is giving me everything he's got. If you're giving me everything you got, it's all I can ask for. When 44 is on the field, you're going to get that plus some. Gus, he continues to stand out in some of these drill work stuff. Let's see if he can translate that on the field like he did last year for Florida. The analyst. An observation about these analysts are pretty simple to me. Sam Petito was hired a couple of weeks ago, maybe like 2 weeks ago officially, or maybe not officially, but was hired at LSU 2 weeks ago. To give you an idea of who Sam Petito is, he's the director of scouting. But in Petito's career, he was a big part when he was at Alabama and a big part at Ohio State in reference to a lot of things that he did on the defensive side of the football. If you asked Nick Saban today about Sam Petito, I would have a very good idea that the following thing would be said. Knows a lot about defensive play and is really good at safeties and really good when it comes to DBs all around. I think that at the current moment, what they're doing with a guy like Sam Petito is that they are utilizing him as a second pair of eyes for what he sees defensively because he's the director of scouting. Hey, why not scout your own team and some of the things that you're doing? What have you seen? I would assume, don't know, I would assume that after every one of these practices that him and Blake Baker are going through different things that they saw after breaking down film throughout the day. That is going to be his role for now. And I do think some of this, as time continues to progress, will continue to go on with Petito. Again, has been a part of guys like Caleb Downs at safety at Alabama, has been big parts of Caleb Downs, or was the big part of Caleb Downs going to Ohio State when Sammy got hired. Within a 4-hour span of Petito getting hired at Ohio State, Caleb Downs made an announcement. I'm going to leave that there. He is the second pair of eyes. Second thing, analyst role, where I think is significant. The star position last year was in the room with Jake Olson. The star role is a big box safety role that Blake Baker likes to utilize. This season, they have taken that position group, if you're going to play the star role, and made it its own thing. In that, you've had guys like C.J. Ross, Austin Alsbury, Harold Perkins, and C.J. Jim Coyley. They are all with former Miami and McNeese and Southeastern defensive coordinator Lance Guidry. Lance Guidry is a bona fide stud when it comes to safety, and he is over tackling drills. And in these tackling drills, he's with Blake Baker on all of these things. I think he is a lead assistant and analyst to Blake Baker. I like it. I like that you have a guy who's been known around the country for a really good and elite safety play. I understand Miami was what they were a year ago. 1 year is 1 year. Lance Guidry's with this star role, and they're going to try to utilize him in reference to getting Harold Perkins and others ready. Here's what I know for a fact. If you want to call it sourcing, call it sourcing. I don't care. The relationship between Harold Perkins and Lance Guidry is a really good one. I don't know if there have been many coaches that have been able to get through to Harold Perkins the way right now that Lance Guidry has gotten through to him. Lance Guidry is a Louisiana guy, but he's been around the block a couple of times. In that, I think that one thing that Perkins needed more than anything has been a connection with a coach defensively. I am not assuming. I think that has worked very well. And let's see what happens when adversity starts hitting. But Lance Guidry came in when Harold Perkins was at his lowest. And when Lance Guidry got hired, he wasted and was told what his role was going to be. I know that he wasted zero time getting in touch with Harold Perkins and being around him as much as he could this offseason based off of what they want to do at that role. They have used this analyst role as on-field coaches. Guys, quite honestly, outside of the pay, there's really no difference right now. And some of these analyst roles versus the on-field positions to the analyst. Guys, Lance Guidry, if that is an analyst, I will take it all day long. Excuse me. I like Lance Guidry being around Park. I think it's why Park has done a little, some really good things. Let's see if that translates onto the field, and Lance Guidry's able to get him there. Whit Weeks. God damn, I didn't realize all these were a lot of these defensive guys, but it was what it was today. Whit Weeks. The honky badger is the honky badger, really. I just think it's instinctually he's looked really good. I think he's looked really fast. I think he's looked really explosive. 40 continues to stand out. The bona fide leader in that linebacker room, we need him. We need him. Bless me. Sorry. Now I need a tissue. Goodness gracious. I thought Whit Weeks stood out. I just think that I don't even know how to really describe this one. I just feel like 40's all over the place, really. That's how I describe it. Every time there's something going on, I feel like I'm always seeing number 40. That's a good thing. All right, a couple more of this, and then we're out of here. We've talked a lot about the defensive line. I kind of broke down that observation and opinion in the practice segment, so just go see it there. I'm starting to get really bullish on this defensive line. If that's the level of rotation that they're going to be able to roll out there, we'll see. Hopefully it continues to go that way. Last thing, biggest observation through 2 days before pads start coming on here. And I hope they come on Saturday. I don't know if they do or don't. I hope they do. We'll see what happens there. I have no clue. Guys, again, I know this sounds like preseason speak. If you've known me for more than a year now, if this is your first time watching, I promise you, ask anybody that's been here that's in the chat. I feel like for me, and I'm trying to speak for myself here, I don't feel like I come out here and sugarcoat anything. Last year, I know that I took a beating saying, hey, guys, there's a lot of interceptions in practice. A lot of you pushed back saying it's just practice. I'm just trying to be real with you. One thing that continues to stand out to me, especially on defense, is just the level of intensity so high. I don't even know at the current moment if I want to continue to call this intensity. What I feel like I want to start calling this is a sense of urgency. The sense of urgency that I feel in being there over the last 2 days feels different. Now, I tweeted that about 5 minutes before Jock did. And Jock and I on his show, Jock's talked about this a little bit today. I think a lot of us are seeing a lot of the same things in reference to, look, the intensity, the sense of urgency is not going to lead you to a win. But for whatever it's going to be and for whatever it's worth, you cannot tell me right now that the sense of urgency for this team is not higher than where it has been. One thing that we talked about before in the preseason, before camp started, was that I felt as if that guys like Jack Pyburn, guys like Whit Weeks and Harold Perkins that you've seen on your own in some of these things that LSU has posted on social media, the sense of urgency is there. But guys, it's just a high level of intensity. For me, I feel as if that the tension is so high right now about perfecting everything while having fun. Because Blake Baker shaking dudes in the open field yesterday. They're trying to have fun. I feel like that you could cut the tension with a plastic butter knife. It's in the room. It's in the level of practice. I told Jock this today, and I will continue to say this, and I think he agreed. The last time that there was this much sense of urgency was 2022. Like, hey, man, we got to get rolling. We got to get rolling. Take it all for what you will. I don't know. Listen, I am not the person who's going to come out here and try to tell you if there's just an opinion that I can't formulate of what it means. I'm going to tell you. I don't know what it means. I don't know if it means that you're going to win against Clemson. I don't know if it means that you're a contender in the SEC. I don't know if it means you make the playoff. I don't know if it means that you make the Final Four. I don't know if it means you win a national title. I don't know if it means that Garrett Nussmeier wins a Heisman. I don't know if that means that you find a running game. But one thing is for sure is that there is a high level of sense of urgency. Now, what some of you are going to hear is this. Oh, man, they're way too tight. No, they're not. They are flying around everywhere. That's the difference. Is there you don't it's a sense of urgency, but it's not a bad sense of urgency. You know, I equate it to this, and I equate it to like if you're in sales or you're in business. Like, hey, man, if I don't get some shit rolling here and I don't start making some money, I'm going to be broke. I'm going to be broke. And the level and sense of urgency, you know, it's like when you have children and you're like, hey, man, I got more mouths to feed here. There's a sense of urgency to go out there and make more. That's how, if in my life experience, and I'm assuming that a lot of you have been in these same life experiences, and maybe you had the same feeling as me, that is the level of where I'm at. It's like, hey, man, just because you have a sense of urgency does not mean it's bad. 9 times out of 10 means it's probably pretty good if you put it and aim it in the right direction. So, Day 2, observations and practice report. That's where we stand. All right. Blank Face on YouTube says, would you say the level of intensity and focus is close to 2019 at this point at camp? No, I would not. Not yet. Brandon Reese says, imagine if Eric Reed and Jamal Adams play type of safety play this year. Then you're going to a national title. Jason said, but you was bullish on Caleb Jackson last year, and we got nothing from him during the season. Very true. Very true. But here's the thing, Jason. I didn't post the clips on Twitter with him breaking a 85-yard run against LSU's defense. LSU did. Jason, I would tell you this. If you were out there at practice, like we are, and you saw Caleb Jackson bust off an 85-yard run, what would you have come on a show like this and said? Jason, I hope you're still here. Can you answer the question inside the chat? What do you make of it? I was also bullish that you wouldn't stop the run. That hit. I was bullish that you were going to turn the ball over a lot, and that hit too. We are going to be wrong. But there also comes a part of, in some of this, it's how do you break it down? Where do you go from it? There were multiple times last season where that young man broke off massive runs. I don't know what you want me to say about it, but he did. He did. We need him big time. That's for sure. EW Wright 31 says the new culture of the program. Maybe there's a good way to explain it. Maybe it's a very good way to explain it. Maybe so. Maybe you're right. Alexander Taylor says, wonder if Wes Weeks returns to his 2022 form. Hope so. Carius says, Blake, does Harlan Berry really look like he gained 20 pounds? No, he does not. No, he does not. He looks like he's 185, 190. Not even 190. He's pushing it. I'd say max 185. Clutch Play says, Blake, do you think JT Lindsey will factor into the running game rotation? No, not right now. I don't. Not right now. I don't. I hadn't seen him run with even the second team yet. No, I don't. It's been second, third team's been like Caleb Jackson, Harlan Berry, and then the Lane kid. The Lane kid. So no, I hadn't even seen him. All right, we're out of here. We'll see y'all soon. Y'all have a good night. We'll see you on Saturday for the post-practice report. It's day 3. Let's go have some fun. We'll see y'all then. Y'all have a good one. Peace.